Anyways, so we were leading the conversation, the national dialogue about what is canon. And for some people, pokephilia might be. And if that is, I really wish you'd go see a specialist. But for those of us who it's not, I think there are other important things we can talk about in this conversation.
Yes.
And one of which I think is a little interesting is don't get offended, people. Christianity.
I've already started typing up several tweets.
I dropped the C-bomb again in this one.
Again.
Jesus. So basically what I'm saying is that, the Old Testament was written over a period of hundreds of years, perhaps thousands of years. And then at one point, a bunch of guys got together and said, what's canon? And they actually had basically like canonical conventions and different interpretations, different stories.
We went to a canonical convention in
When was
Orlando.
that? Really? Oh, we did.
MegaCon.
Yeah, MegaCon. There was a canonical convention.
It's the modern day equivalent.
Of course, modern myths. Modern myths. I'm not saying Christianity is a myth, people. Just let me talk. Please boycott Suck My Fanfic so we get 2 less listeners. That'd be awesome.
Cancel Suck My Fanfic. Let's blow it up, people.
Let's do it. So a couple thousand years ago, they had basically like a canonical convention with a bunch of rabbis to figure out what the Old Testament was. And then after Jesus, there was
this at like a Hyatt?
probably, I think it was the Jerusalem Hyatt. No.
Could have been like a double tree. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think they necessarily had a ton of fans, and like us, they were still growing at that time.
Probably. Yeah. Definitely centralized. They haven't spread out yet.
No.
They have not been cast out, 12 tribes in all. No. But yeah, so after Jesus, they also had a convention, and that's when we have the New Testament. So it's interesting to think about how the books of the Bible were curated by somebody or a group of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's not like this is the end all be all. Human beings had to figure this out. And so, we had this one convention, and then hundreds of years after, people keep adding to it. And so I wanted to talk about some, I don't want to say myths, but some misunderstandings in Christianity that weren't in the Bible or weren't originally interpreted that way. Sound good?
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to reiterate. I can bring absolutely no intellectual weight to this conversation. I'm just going to give you the layman's
Do it.
interpretation of everything you say.
So I have a little list pulled up. One of them is in the Garden of Eden. It is not specifically referred to as an apple.
No?
No, just a fruit. That's why some people think it's a pomegranate. And there's actually a type of pomegranate that's native to the Middle East, which I believe is called a King David's pomegranate.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so pomegranates are really important in that region, and apples aren't as important. So,
Do they grow apples in that region?
I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you.
Isn't the Garden of Eden supposed to be in like Jackson, Mississippi?
If you're a Mormon, of course. Absolutely.
So maybe it was like like corn, stalk,
Could be.
an ear
Yeah.
of corn.
Yeah, well, that's not a fruit. It could be a tomato.
Ah, thank you.
Could be a tomato. Yeah. Which is also a New World food, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
Take that, Italians.
Yeah, no
Stupid Italians.
pizza sauce.
Yeah, no pizza pie. But I believe it being referred to as an apple got popular through Paradise Lost by John Milton. Yeah, which I do own a copy of that. But yeah, so it was originally referred to as a fruit. So there's a little nugget there. So it's not, I'm not pointing it out to be like, your religion's not real. I'm pointing it out to say that
It's interesting.
we have this human imagination and this basically like quilt of ideas of what this body of thinking is. And there are, people keep adding to it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And in 200 years, I guarantee there will be more Harry Potter things. And it's not going to be J.K. Rowling, obviously. But someone who owns it at the time is going to be the person that's like, yeah, that's canon. Absolutely. So.
Maybe there'll be an apple scar on his forehead.
Yeah.
And if you time travel to the future,
There could be.
You bet it was a lightning bolt. People are
Yeah.
going to burn you.
That could be it.
Yeah, stakes.
The next one is the three wise men. They're not referred to as being why. Just we three kings of Orient are.
That's in a song. That's like in a Christmas song.
Yeah, it's a Christmas song. Yeah. There were 3 gifts and more than one magi. That's it.
Magi?
Magi.
I didn't know there were
That's
magi.
the king. That's how they refer to the kings.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we've associated if there are 3 gifts, there's 1 magi for each.
Oh, okay. So some of them just kind of tagged like, hey, what are you bringing frankincense?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to bring that too. Can you put my name on that card?
Yeah, I'll put my name on the card.
Put my name on that card.
It could be 6 kings. Yeah.
That's me. I identified
And then
that.
you're that one dude that brought gold.
Oh,
You,
did you not get the $20
yeah,
limit?
we had a white elephant limit, dude.
Myrrh is a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Oh
Myrrh?
my
Who
God.
needs that?
Well, a baby doesn't need myrrh.
That's the joke. That's
Yeah,
why I brought
exactly.
it. I can't. Gold? Really, Greg?
A whale did not swallow Jonah.
He swallowed Pinocchio. I knew this one.
There you go. Absolutely. A great fish swallowed Jonah.
Okay.
So Jonah was still swallowed, but not by a whale. But if you play Spyro, there's an egg in a whale's stomach. So that's a big deal. I
An
love
Easter
Spyro.
egg.
An Easter egg. Of course. It's an Easter egg. Mm-hmm. This saying, money is the root of all evil, not in the Bible.
I didn't think so.
No.
Was that supposed to be from the Bible?
Some people think it is.
Oh, I didn't.
You know, have you ever met one of those like really, really militant people with their faith, just in general, and they
Yeah.
just kind of like spit out random sayings, just to like explain things to themselves? Mm-hmm. I think that's where it got popular. I think that was kind of the big deal for it. It's like, oh, well, money's the root of all evil. It's like, well, no one said that.
I do that with quotes from The Office. Like, I'll just spit those out. I'm like a militant follower of The Office.
I'm like that, but with South Park. I'm terrible about South Park quotes all the time. This too shall pass, which is also a common saying. A lot of people associate it with the Bible.
That's Okay Go.
Not in it. Not in the Bible.
Okay, I thought Okay Go, that was their song.
What's
They
OK
originated
Go?
it. It's a
Really?
band. That's the one who does all the crazy music videos.
Oh, yeah. No, apparently it came from Mike Ditka, the Bears coach.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
So everyone attributes this quote to the Bible, but it came from Mike Ditka. Mike
Well,
Ditka.
if you're living in Chicago, he is God.
Mike, so you're saying Mike Ditka is kind of like a fan fiction author.
I would believe so.
I like that.
I like that too.
I'm gonna grow out a mustache and wear a robe.
Oh, please do.
That's dark blue and orange.
Have you ever seen Kicking and Screaming?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's amazing in that movie.
Oh, that's right. He is in that.
He is in that movie.
That's a severely underrated movie, as far as like silly.
No, I thought
Will
that,
Ferrell.
and I rewatched it as an adult. Keep it in your past, kid.
Just
Don't rewatch it, please.
That's okay. There's yeah.
I still love it, but like, ugh. Cleanliness is next to godliness, not in the Bible.
Then again, that sounds like a Hallmark card. I didn't think that. That's like
Yeah.
is that an ad campaign from Clorox or something?
I believe so. Yeah, yeah. Probably in like Israel, but no, not here. God works in mysterious ways, also not in the Bible.
Okay, so the point of all these is, I mean, could this not just be contributed to like this is like one big game of telephone? Are you getting at that people are creating their own interpretations of Christianity, whatever, and it's capturing the larger imagination. People are taking it on. People are making it their canon. That's what you're getting at here?
Well, I would say it's probably a mixture of both, for sure. Because it's definitely telephone. People are just misremembering quotes and saying them differently. Or you hear a really profound quote and you're like, oh, that's got to be from the Bible. You know what I mean? Especially if it has to do with like God or a higher power. You're like, yeah, that's the Bible,
hey,
of course.
this too shall pass.
Exactly.
That sounds
No?
biblical.
Exactly. That sounds like some dirty mustached man from Chicago said it.
He probably said right before it, I bet she's on the rag.
I mean,
But
she's
this too
on
shall
the rag. Hey, she's on the rag.
pass. Now we're striving into
Yeah.
Guido territory.
So angels are mentioned in the Bible, not with wings.
How do they fly?
They just fly.
Okay.
Peter Pan, I believe.
So magic fairy dust?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. So the common interpretation of the devil being red, horns, pitchfork, forked
Right.
tail,
Yeah.
all that, not in the Bible.
That's like an ad. Again, that's like an ad campaign.
No, I actually believe that was either Paradise Lost or Dante's Inferno.
Okay, yeah, I feel
Yeah,
that Dante's
yeah. A lot of
Dante's Inferno is like one giant fan fiction.
it is. So is Paradise Lost.
And I think a lot of people get what they envision, like hell and heaven, they
That's-
get it from Dante's Inferno.
that's exactly my point.
That
so
is
like
the ultimate fan fiction.
What is it? The 7 circles of hell or
Right.
9 circles
Nine.
of hell?
I think it's 9.
Not in the Bible. That is Dante's Inferno, and that's actually modeled after the Greek interpretation of the afterlife of Hades. Because
So he did a crossover.
a little bit, yeah.
Wow.
He stole it for sure.
Kind of like today's fan fiction is a crossover.
Exactly.
So this is similar.
Yeah. So I'm not saying Christianity is a fan fiction. I'm just saying that a lot of common ideas that we have were rooted from were created in like 1000 AD to like 1500, especially since like priests not allowed to marry, not in the Bible. So that actually came about because in the Middle Ages, priests were just going to town on people's wives.
It was their wives.
On their wives.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
so
good.
they would
That's
say,
okay.
if we sleep together, I'll put in a good word with God for you.
Does this have anything to do with like tithings? Like, hey, you don't
Yeah,
have to pay
a little bit.
You don't have to pay your tax.
Yeah.
You do.
And so the men all got really annoyed that the priest was just like sleeping around town. And one of the ways they had to, help the church is by saying priests can't get married at all. Because it's like, well, if you can't get married, you can't have sex. Boom. Solve that problem.
Try to find a loophole in that one, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't work. It just doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. Where are the altar boys? What else? What else is there? Like a halo. It's not really mentioned in the Bible. A concept of a halo that came from
Beyonce?
Beyonce. Yeah. Well, no, she did. The people in the Middle Ages actually took inspiration from her when they were doing their paintings, where they put the halos behind them.
Was that just like an artistic choice? Like the lighting would come from the most important figure?
Yeah, like a Holy Spirit almost.
Okay.
Like you would know that this person's divine, blessed by divine grace, because they have a halo. They have
Okay.
this golden light behind their head.
Yeah, just so if you're not a very learned person, you're just looking at this painting, you can point out the important folks.
Especially back in like 1200, nobody could read. The priest could. So you're taking his word for everything that's in there, and you're just staring at this stained glass, or you're staring at these triptychs or paintings. You're like, oh, okay, it's that guy. That's Jesus.
I'm following along.
Yeah. I guess the last one I really say is like cursing. There's no mention. You can't use Yahweh's name in vain. But
The actual, okay, so here's where I've always grappled with this is that, okay, you can't use that particular word in vain, but I think it's about the intention. Like if I said, cornflakes.
yeah.
The hate is in my heart. It's all about the
Absolutely.
intention, So that one, I don't, where are you going with this one? Explain this one to me.
No, I'm just saying the only mention of like a forbidden word is Yahweh. I'm fairly certain even there's not anything about that like with Jesus. So when you were a little kid, or when I was, and
I was never a little kid, actually.
okay, when
That's a
you were
fun fact.
birthed from your cloning chamber,
Came right out of the,
That's fine.
right out of the tunnel.
for those of us who are natties, yeah,
You fools.
well, one of these days this is going to be a real conversation. And some clone's going to be like, what an idiot.
Standing up for clones'
I don't
rights.
even have a belly button.
Kyle XY.
Yes, exactly. Where was I going?
I don't know, but that was just such a deep reference. But
Oh,
I think
when
a
I was a
lot
little
of
kid,
people
yeah.
get it, yeah.
No, they're not. When I was a little kid, and I'd say like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" and my mom, don't say that. Don't take the Lord's name in vain.
You and your mom sound really similar.
When I was a kid, we sounded identical.
Identical.
I used to pick up the house phone. For those of you who know what that is still, and dial into it and call places and be like, Molly. I'm like, oh. So, yeah. How sad. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much my point about the whole Christian thing. Is I'm not making fun of anyone's religion. I'm just saying that there are a lot of misconceptions in the religion. There are a lot of ideas that we have about it that are not rooted in the source material.
Right, and it's because it's a thing that religion in general, I think it's something that just speaks to people on
Yeah.
such a deep level that
Yeah.
it inspires this. And you think about like a Dante's Inferno or like the painting on the Sistine Chapel, like maybe it didn't necessarily speak to
Yeah.
I mean, he was kind of mocking the whole thing, but it speaks to these people in such a way that it inspires them to go out and create something.
Exactly. Or to go out and live their life a little differently.
Right. And these
Yeah.
people create something transcendent. And I would say something similar happens to people when they find a story that they
Absolutely.
really like.
Yeah.
It inspires them, and they can't. It's like they can't keep it inside of themselves, so they type it out on
Yeah.
a keyboard, and they upload it to fanfiction.
They upload it, yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of people that talk about religion that say, like, maybe I don't believe that someone came back from the dead, or I don't believe that the Earth's 5,000 years old, but I really believe that if I follow this set of morals, I'll just be a happier person. Maybe I'm not a good person. Maybe I'm just a happier person. And I think there are a lot of people like that nowadays, our generation, where
You got anxiety, you're stressed, you don't have a lot of answers to things.
exactly, and you weren't as a child encouraged to be religious by your parents.
Sure.
And then you find Superman, you find Harry Potter, you find Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and you see these people as role models. Some of them are, Superman is basically a god and he can't create life, and you see like, oh, he's brave. He always goes out of his way to do the right thing, and you're inspired by it. So I'm not saying people should think Superman's God and start a religion. I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of things, what's the big difference?